I don't see many young people, especially women, discussing finances, and I believe it's an important topic for being able to become financially independent, free, and powerful. I just conducted my own study. This video is incredibly exciting for me since I probably put in hours of study to make sure I'm presenting useful information. So I went to a variety of specialists, acquired information from them, and wanted to put it all together in one short, well-packed video to share some fundamental facts with you. This has been a great journey for me because I've learned with you and will share a few of my personal experiences. So if you have little to no understanding about investing but are interested in learning more about how to invest your money, then this video is really for you. I'm going to go over some words for those of you who don't really understand finances or financial terms, and then I'm going to walk you through several various processes and some wonderful methods to start investing your money today. So before you contemplate investing, you should have a look at your money, and I highly urge that you comply with these steps. First and foremost, it is necessary to have an emergency fund. I mentioned this in one of my previous financial videos, but it's simply a good rule of thumb because you never know what's going to happen, especially since we're in the midst of a pandemic. If it doesn't convince you that you never know what will happen if you need emergency funds in the event you lose your job or whatever, simply check out the news. It is generally suggested that you have at least 1 month's worth of emergency funds and gradually increase that to 3 to 6 months. The second step is to pay off your debts as quickly as possible because it will put you back in the long run. And for any high interest rate debt, you want to get rid of it before you start making any large investments because that's simply money that will keep going down the drain if you don't handle it. The third step is to create a retirement account. As I've previously stated, I am a strong believer in starting your retirement as early as possible. I started mine when I was 19 and opened a Vanguard Target Retirement Fund account. So there are many sorts of retirement accounts, the most common of which are the 401k and Roth IRA. So a 401k is normally set up by your employer. So if you have a 9-to-5 job or another sort of employment with benefits, you may get a 401k retirement account. As a result, a 401k is an account that stores investments. So if you have a 401k from your employment and you're investing, you're doing well and planning for your future. And I'm happy for you. So a 401k is a tax-advantaged retirement plan wherein you put money in and your employer will most likely match it up to a specific percentage. This automatically invests you in a combination of stocks and bonds using mutual funds, which we'll go over in a moment. Roth IRA accounts are another type of retirement savings account that enables your funds to grow tax-free. So let's go out some of these words. So if you're not familiar with stocks, bonds, or the stock market, let's speak about it. I'll try to keep it as easy as possible. As a result, a stock is an investment that symbolizes a share and a company. So for example, you may purchase a stock in Facebook, which means you control a tiny portion of the company's ownership. And if that company grows, your stock will rise slowly alongside it. The stock market, which everyone is continually stressing out about, is the marketplace for stocks and where equities are stored. The intriguing thing about the stock market is that it is typically driven by investors' emotions. So people are starting to panic because, say, there's a pandemic. They'll want to withdraw their money and sell their stocks and shares. And if a lot of people do that at once, the stock market will drop. But as soon as they realize, okay, this is good, I'm going to reinvest my money in stocks, and the stock market will rise again. You often hear people talk about investing with risk versus reward, which means you'll have to risk more if you want a higher reward and to try to make more money. But there are also lower risk investments, which means you'll have a lesser reward profit margin. So you'll make less but risk less, and a bond falls into that category. A bond is a contract with a corporation or the government in which we are effectively lending them your money. So it's fairly predictable, and over a long length of time with that loan, you will make a small amount of money. As a result, it is seen as a low-risk investment. Funds are basically a huge fat bowl of stocks and bonds and so on. I remember watching a video and someone described that buying a stock is like buying one piece of a flower, but buying a fund is like buying the entire bouquet with all the various flowers. So there are several types of funds, and the ones I'll be focusing on today are index funds and mutual funds. So mutual funds came first, and as I previously stated, a fund is a bouquet of stocks and bonds that is managed by an investor. A very smart person who understands the stock market is managing a fund or mutual fund, and they use their brain and their market knowledge to select which stocks, bonds, and so on that they believe will be the best investments to be included in the bouquet. So basically, you're holding a number of stocks in one bundle, which provides better diversification. Because if you invest in one, say Apple, and it plummets, all of your money will go down with that as well. That is why it is common to hear that you should diversify your portfolio and not put all of your eggs in one basket. Mutual funds were created to let investors to invest in stocks while also diversifying over a wider similar platform. These are controlled by educated people, as I mentioned, and they will demand a large fee, perhaps 1 to 3% of your mutual funds. So, however much money you put in there, you will be paying them. Later, index funds appeared. I am a huge fan of index funds, as does Warren Buffett, may I add. If you don't believe in me, just trust Warren Buffett, who is one of the world's most successful investors. Likewise, an index fund is a portfolio of certain assets in which you may invest and subsequently own a small portion of a variety of different stocks and companies. The index is a true representation of the stock market, comparable to a mutual fund, except instead of being managed by a smart manager, it is passively managed by a formula. So instead of trying to beat the market like a mutual fund, you're generally trying to match the market. And since the big difference is that you don't have the mutual fund manager, then you're going to cut out a lot of costs. So index fund is an investment that you usually invest in, but you're going to sit on for a while and not touch it. One thing to remember is that all index funds are mutual funds, whereas not all mutual funds are index funds. I know it's complicated. Basically, this rises by compounding interest, which is reinvesting your interest in your initial loan or investment. Mutual funds do not pay interest, but dividends or capital gains may be reinvested to compound throughout the time. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about investing. Let's return to the video. Let's assume you put $1,000 in an index fund, and you put $100 a month for 25 years, and we're going to put out an optimistic 8% and compute it yearly. And the statistic, you put in merely $37,000 of your own money, and it increases to $94,500 in 25 years due to compounding interest. Imagine if you put in a bigger amount of an initial investment, more money each month, or if you do an account with a little higher annual rate of return. Okay, now that you're familiar with a few more terms, let's get into some of the best methods to invest. As I mentioned earlier, putting money into an entire company is a fantastic way to invest, and the earlier you start, the better. Retirement accounts such as a Roth IRA have a max limit of $6,000. So if you make a lot of money for a year and want to invest a lot of it, you're restricted when it comes to that retirement account. However, if you don't have that much money to invest, which I'm sure many of you do, don't worry. Just put in little by little every month and it will surely pay off. So now that you understand save up for emergency funds, pay off any large debts, and invest in your retirement, now let's talk about several ways to invest. So as I indicated earlier, there are many techniques to investing. You may want to be more high risk, high reward, such as someone who trades stocks and is more hands-on, or you may want to be more passive with lower risk, such as investing in an index fund. But there are other sorts of index funds you may have heard of, such as the S&P 500, which is a very popular one. Therefore, what is the S&P 500? The S&P 500 index essentially follows the top 500 corporations in the United States. If you live in a different country, some of these fundamental concepts may not apply to you. Therefore, there are somewhat different S&P 500 funds based on the brokerage account that you join up with. I personally chose Vanguard, which is a well-known company. The index fund was created by Vanguard, but there are many other choices to consider, such as Charles Schwab or Fidelity. Make sure you conduct your own research on everything presented in this video. You have to check it out for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to present information for you to discover more for yourself. So I've been investing with Vanguard for some time, and while their interface isn't the best and can be a little confusing to use, but they're a really great investment option because they have very low expense ratios, which means that if I want to invest in an index fund, I only need to pay a very low fee like 0.05%. So here's an article I like that gives the S&P 500 a little more credit. Buffett literally wagered $1 million that an index fund would outperform a group of hedge funds over a 10-year period. A decade went by and he won. So all these various hedge funds attempting to beat the market, timing it, and predict when the stocks would go up and down to earn the most money didn't win. Putting your money in an index fund and simply letting it relax and gently ride the wave of the stock market worked best. And you don't have to know much about it. Just put your money, relax, don't touch it, and let it ride the wave. So the S&P 500 follows the top 500 companies and allows you to spread your little investments throughout the top 500. But a complete stock market fund will allow you to spread your investments all the way to the top of the major corporations as well as the small ones. So there is a basic summary of index funds. These are highly suggested for whatever decision you make. Put in the time and investigate only your finances to ensure you're educating for yourself. The purpose of them is not simply to put money into it and then withdraw out in 6 months, hoping it's grown a lot. It's about putting money in for years, if not decades, and allowing it to grow over time before taking it out when you're ready to purchase a house or retire. I kept hearing that the best time to invest was yesterday, and I'm saying it's true. You need to put that money in as soon as possible. You put money in on a regular basis. Don't touch it. Don't even check it, and simply let it grow. Trying to time the market is difficult, and I honestly don't trust myself. So it's about putting in a small amount of money each month, and like I said, don't touch it. So let's discuss a little bit more about stocks and the possibility for higher risk, higher reward. So you've definitely heard people here talking about investing in this company or that stock or anything and making money and being fortunate as they invested in Tesla at the perfect time or some such. So that's when stocks come into play. They're a riskier investment, but you may possibly make a lot more money. It's more difficult to execute and will take time to master, but the rewards may be great. The wonderful thing is that stocks in general tend to trend upwards. There will be dips, and it will probably climb 2/3 of the time, and then fall 1/3 of the time. So you just have to stick with it. So if you want to go a little more particular, there are some really excellent applications out there that enable you to invest a tiny amount of money from anywhere so you can get a really good feel of the stock market and sort of understand what you're doing and become more comfortable with it. Index funds are fantastic for a lot of individuals, but if you are prepared to put in the work and truly want to learn, give individual stocks a shot. Of course, like with everything in this video, do your own research and make your own financial decisions. If you have any other financial issues that you'd want me to address in a video, please leave a comment below. Hope you have learned something from this video. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for you to be updated on our latest videos. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Want to learn more and be more financially literate? Click on the next videos we have in our channel, showing on the screen right now.